Dobro Vircher. Good evening. It is Friday in Skopje, Macedonia. And Good Friday. It's Good Friday. I had a great day. Had a nice leisurely morning. And I'll talk a little bit about the tour I did, but what I want to focus on today are some really cool people that I met with some Wisconsin connections, believe it or not. So I had a nice leisurely morning, took a little walk, and booked a tour through Skopje day tours, where you visit three things: the Vodno Mountain with the Millennium Cross, a monastery, which I can't pronounce the name, but I'm going to put it on the screen, and then Matka Canyon. The mountain is really kind of like a hill, and Millennium Cross was built at the Millennium. It is literally this big ass cross. Sorry, Father Andy, for saying big ass in front of the word cross, but it literally is. It's a big ass cross. It's 60 meters high. They built this on top of the hill for the Millennium. So we took the cable car up there. Great views of the city. Visited the monastery, and then took the tour of Matka Canyon, which the lake was formed when a dam was built there in the 1930s. It was finished in 1936, and that was the same year that Skopje had electricity, which I thought seemed really late, but then in looking at it, in doing some research, because of course I was not alive in the 1930s, most US homes at that time, maybe like half, only had electricity, and then after FDR did something. By 1945, most homes in the US did have electricity. Anyway, that was a great day. But before that, when I was meeting at the fortress to start the tour, there were two men who were trying to take a selfie. And of course, me being the helper, I asked if I should take a photo for them. They said yes. They were both from Venezuela, now living in Spain, named Ali and Gustavo. Had a really nice chat with them. And then on the tour, I ended up meeting a young man and his girlfriend. The man's name was Ali, and started talking with him. And he will be working in the Dells, Wisconsin Dells, this summer, starting in June through October. I'm like, what are the chances of that? So he's from Istanbul. He's a huge Milwaukee Bucks fan, a big fan of Giannis. I told him he should go to a Brewers game, and he said, oh, I don't know baseball. I said, doesn't matter, go drink and tailgate. He was asking me about Wisconsin, like what can I expect from Wisconsin? What is Wisconsin like? And I'm like, we pretty much like beer and cheese. And he's like, well, that sounds very nice. And I said, yes, it is. But me being me, of course, I gave him my contact information, and I said, if you run into trouble, if you want to come up to Green Bay, let me know, look me up. Went to dinner at this place called Nadzak. It was recommended by a local here, and ended up, same thing. There was a couple next to me trying to take a picture. I offered to take a photo. See, good things happen when you help and when you offer to take pictures for people. And again, asking where they're from. They live here now. They're from Istanbul. And when people ask where I'm from, I always say, well, US. And then, okay, where? I usually say Chicago or I say around Chicago. Okay, 3 hours. Then they have some context. And then as we get talking, when they might start asking more, I will say, well, I actually live in Wisconsin. So this man, he's like, Wisconsin? My brother lived in Sister Bay in high school on an exchange program. I said, Sister Bay, Wisconsin, as in Door County, he's like, Sister Bay. What are the crazy chances? So he's like, so we're talking, he's like, this is wild. I'm calling him right now. So he gets on the phone, he calls his brother in Istanbul, he hands me the phone, my food is coming, but I'm like, well, I'm talking to this guy in Istanbul about Sister Bay. He graduated from Gibraltar High School in 1985. He lived with this host company. He said he was back in the area last summer because his host dad had passed away, so he went back for the funeral. And so he knows Green Bay, he knows the Packers, he knows Milwaukee, he knows Sturgeon Bay, he knows Gills Rock, he knows Washington Island. I'm like, holy cow. So he's like, well, if I come back, I'd love to meet. Yeah, and he's like, if you're ever in Istanbul, I can host you. And it was just, and I had a wonderful conversation with this couple, and they're living here now in Skopje, and they're like, if you run into trouble, you call us. If you need a ride somewhere, you call us. We'll help you. And I truly believe they meant that. They meant that, just as I mean it when I say I will help somebody or I will host you. Like, I mean that. I mean, I don't mean to sound corny, but I do believe most people in the world, at least most people that I've met throughout the world when I've traveled, or in just anywhere, are good. People are good, and they mean well by you. Their intentions are good. And I don't know, maybe that makes me a little naive, maybe it makes me a little stupid, I don't know. I choose to believe that. I choose to believe that by, I guess, opening yourself up and being kind and reaching out, maybe something good will happen to you in return. I don't know. Maybe it's karma. Who knows? But anyway, this is my last night here in Skopje before I go home in a week, heading out tomorrow. And I've enjoyed it here. It's been great. I'm sure I'll have more stories and more fun things to report on. So anyway, hope all of you are doing well back home, wherever you are. All right. Ciao.